they have to do that. It's like the rule. Okay, we'll just wait for this to get started. Okay. I always start every presentation with the same thing, which is Dzień dobry, przepraszam, nie mówić po polsku. It's about as much as I've got when it comes to speaking Polish. But yeah, so my name is Mick Griffin. I work for Brand24. You already heard Michał today. And I know that he already promised you some content in my presentation. What I want to do first is I really want to thank Casper and the team for inviting me here. They invited me to Business Link today, and I have to share this with you. I was in the Business Link office today, and I'm sat down, and they're really saying, like, Mick, it's awesome that you come. And I look, and I'm like, okay, maybe they know what's going to be on YouTube tomorrow. So I really appreciate it. So yeah, my job is Chief Revenue Officer for Brand24, and it's a really fancy title for the fact that my role is to increase revenue across the board. So the way that we do this is by taking care of kind of the way that customers interact with Brand24. But there's a better way for me to kind of introduce what I do at Brand24, and Sadek kind of took care of this earlier this year.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of Brand24, a beautiful award-winning app that gives you instant access to mentions about your brand across the web. People ask, what is the secret to our success? Well, apart from reading a lot of SaaS.com, we've been quite successful keeping our team members motivated. 1, 2, 3, 4, get
Now it's safe to say that he didn't mention it during the interview, but basically this is a really good example of how Brand24 do business. What we do is we try to do things that other companies don't do. So we try to compete for the space that other companies are not trying to do. Now, my job is simply sales, okay? Can I just have a quick show of hands? Anyone in the room that works in sales? Anybody? Okay, slowly. Okay, now, I feel like I have to represent salespeople when I come to events like this, because when you think about salespeople, you think about this guy. Okay, this is old school sales. This is the guy that would come and knock on your door at 5 p.m. when you're in the middle of lunch, or he would phone you up and interrupt your day. And his method of sales was to increase pressure, was to make you give in to him. And what we found is, if you Google how to stop cold callers, there's 177,000 ways on Google how to stop cold callers. Because we hate it now. We really hate that people like this invade our time and they try to make us buy stuff by increasing pressure. And this is how traditional sales looks in the modern kind of scope. 97% of cold calling is ineffective. What this basically means is it's not that you have a 3% conversion. It means that 3% of your work will actually generate any kind of positive aspect. So it's getting worse every year, and it's more expensive every year to do cold calling. So you have to buy the data, you have to have a team that can do it. And what I want to talk to you about today is better ways to make sales, better ways to convince customers to come on board with you. Now, everybody hates being sold to. I definitely hate being sold to. I know when my phone rings and the person's like, Dzień dobry, Mick, jestem, calling from T-Mobile or Orange, would you like to buy a new contract? I hate it. And as soon as he does it, my defenses go up. So I've got a question for you. Can you please put your hand up if you went to the cinema lately? The kino. Tak? Have you? Okay, there's a few people. Okay, great. Now, when I go to the cinema, I'm the weird guy because I'm not looking at the screen, I'm looking at the people and how they react. Now, can you please put your hands up again? Did anybody go to the cinema lately and watch the trailers before the movie? Okay, super. Makes my presentation much more logical. So this is normally how it looks. So we're at the cinema, and the latest blockbuster film comes on. And like I said, I'm the weird guy because I'm watching everybody else. And what happens is everybody's focused on the TV, on the cinema. They're all looking at it, and it's great, and they're like, wow, James Bond, it's going to be awesome. And you can see the guy's to his girlfriend like, we have to go and watch that movie. And the girlfriend's like, fuck, another one? Okay. So it's awesome. And everybody's watching the screen, and they're really engaged, and then this happens. You know, awesome. And suddenly, again, I'm watching people, and suddenly people go from like that to their phone, they started talking to their friends, and they lose interest. Now, what this proves to me is that sales is still very, very much today active. It's still working, because what's happening is when you go to the cinema early or you go on time and you watch a trailer, you're volunteering to be sold to. That company is pitching you, saying, give me your money to come and watch the next movie. And everybody that put their hand up, including me, we go to the cinema early voluntarily to say, I like trailers. When this happens, in the trailer or before the movie, we lose interest constantly because we don't want this. This is an intrusion into our experience of the cinema. So actually what happens is, sales is really, really cool. Sales really, really works when you allow the consumer to make the decision. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So very much now the consumers are in control. What does that mean for us? Now, these statistics came from The Economist. 88% of consumers will go online before they make a decision. Me included, maybe many people in this room. What that basically means is that we really want to buy that car, we really want to go to watch that film, but still, more and more of us, 88% of us, are going online to say, let's see what everybody else says. 85% of people check up to 10 reviews. 88% of people will trust online reviews more than their friends. Now this is a huge one for me, because in the past, we used to think that word of mouth was key. We do it now. We speak in Brand 24 meetings, and we're like, listen, maybe we can just convince all of our users to tell other people to buy our product. But what we can see now in statistics is that it's not enough. We need to convince the whole universe of people using social monitoring that Brand 24 is a good product. And this is a really key one. 44% of people will check your reviews online, even if they bought your product. And I've done this. I've gone like, wow, awesome, AliExpress, I'm gonna buy this coat, or I'm gonna buy this, useless box, as they call it. And you buy it and you go, wow, that's pretty shit. Let me check what other people said about it. Half the people are still doing that. Now, what this basically means is consumers are in control. Now, let me show you what happens when you try to take that control away. Here we have a relatively old couple. And what happened was they went to a hotel in a place called Blackpool in England. They booked the hotel online, they went to the hotel, they didn't like it, they came away, and what they did is they went on TripAdvisor and wrote on TripAdvisor, I didn't like this hotel. So what the hotel manager did is he charged them £100 extra on their credit card. And we're all thinking like, how is that even possible? And what the manager had done, in the terms and conditions of booking a room in this hotel, if you leave a negative review of this hotel online, we can charge you £100 extra by law. And that's the truth. So you think to yourself, you're Mr. Hotel Manager, and you're like, awesome, £100 in my pocket. Screw you, old couple. And then old couple do what we all do. They go to social media. And we can see that they went to the BBC News website and they complained. And hotel managers thinking, not that bad. Only, BBC News, not so popular. The next day, it's in The Guardian. Hotel managers thinking, okay, it's a little bit of a bigger problem, but it's okay. £100, That's going to go a long way for PR. I'm going to be fine. Then it goes to CNN International. And he's thinking, okay, £100? Remember, 88% of consumers check online before they buy. This is what they're going to find. And he's thinking, the world is a big place. Maybe not everybody reads that. The next day, the New Zealand Herald. So basically now he's left with 12% of the world's population for his hotel in exchange for £100. Proszę bardzo. No. So basically, you can't take control away from consumers. It's impossible because they will scorn you for it. So, as I said, you can see now that there's the fine print is 395 news articles about this system. So what we find here is that we know that 1,800 people a month write customer service and fail online. We all do it. We all know now that social media is a really good place to complain. So we think to ourselves that this is what consumers do. They use social media just to complain. But what we've managed to find is that it's not the only thing that they use social media for. What we can see is that if we monitor the phrase, can anybody recommend, 18,000 people a month write the words, can anybody recommend on social media. So they're looking for help. When they write on social media, can anybody recommend what movie to go and see? Can anyone recommend what car I should buy? There's 18,000 people compared to 1,800 that complain. If you want something stronger, 36,000 people write, where can I buy? Where can I buy tostam? Okay? So basically, we know that consumers are online asking for help making purchasing decisions. So this is Chad Johnson, okay? Chad Johnson writes online, where can I buy a Habs jersey in Miami? Chad Johnson's a pretty influential person. He's followed by Floyd Mayweather. So he has around 2 million followers. And you see here that he's got lots of retweets, but nobody responded. So you think to yourself, as you can see here, Floyd Mayweather, 3.5 million followers, and nobody responded on Twitter. And now Habs jersey is a Canadian hockey team. Now, if I go to Google and I Google Habs jersey Miami, as many people in this room will know that's in marketing, look at how many people are bidding for the advertising space. All down the right-hand side, the top 3 places, probably $2, $3, $4 a click, yet nobody responded to him on social media. Where can I buy a cheap tracking device for my car? Nobody responded. Lots of people bidding for the space on Google AdWords. And the list goes on. So what I really want to ask is, like, why are people paying so much money for Google when the interaction on social media is there and available and people want your help? So this is what happens when you do help. So here Jonathan writes to Shawn Michaels, where can I buy your book? What happens is Shawn Michaels replies with a very simple link saying, this is where you can buy my book. It's very straightforward pitch. Now, basically, I don't know if you can see this from the back, but basically what happens is the consumer writes, thank you, God bless. What this basically means is, not only has he made a sale, but he's made an advocate for his brand by showing that he's human. So what I started to do is I started to test this. Okay, I don't just want to preach this is everybody should do social sales. I want to show you how to do it. So here we have someone who wrote, can anyone recommend an email marketing platform? And I did this just last week when I was doing a demo for a customer. And what happened was I recommended GetResponse. This was a month after the tweet. A month after the tweet, I said, hey, listen, I recommend GetResponse. Instantly, the person said to me, hey, Mick, thanks for that. I'm going to check it out. Instantly, even a month after he had tweeted. This is because when a consumer tweets a question like that, it's not because he wants to vent. It's not because he wants to just say it in front of his friends. He really needs help from people that can provide that solution. Can anyone recommend a good PR agency to work on a girly account? What did I do? I Googled PR agency London, female orientated. I found the company, I recommended them, and the person said, thank you. Now, this happens over and over again. Here is somebody, can you recommend a good restaurant in Brighton that isn't Italian? I recommend a restaurant, the restaurant says thank you. Now, what this basically means is 40% of social media questions get a response. So every time someone asks a question on social media, can you recommend, where can I buy, or does anybody use, 40% of people respond. Now, when you compare that to email marketing or cold calling, it's a phenomenal response rate. So we really know that people online want help. Now, the reason why people respond is because they don't expect it. Maybe me, and maybe I'm not so popular on social media. When I get a tweet, I get all excited. I'm like, fuck yeah, somebody tweeted me. Yeah, I don't want to try it back. When I get an email, it doesn't really matter to me anymore because I get 200 emails a day. So we have to compete for the space where consumers want us to be. Now, Michał stole my story and he put online the Virgin Train story. As we all know, I had a poo in the Virgin Trains and no, I don't have any toilet paper. Now, what I tried to do with this is not only a good story, but it has a lot of ROI and revenue involved. And that's what I tried to get to. So what I tried to do is do the math. We have Virgin Trains, we have Twitter, and we have a toilet break. We all know that we want to go viral. We all know that we want to have that next cool story on social media, but what does it actually equal in terms of revenue? So this has 2,000 Twitter interactions, and it has 40 plus news articles. CNN, TechCrunch, Mashable, it all featured this. So it's a really cool story, and it went really viral, but actually, to your company alone, it's worth over $5,000. That's what it would cost you if you wanted to buy this kind of engagement, at least. So listening to your consumers, listening to their problems, responding can be worth thousands and thousands of dollars if you do it in the right way. Here's another one that shows that consumers want honesty. Consumers want trust from you. Here is a consumer here wrote like, the BART is the local transportation in San Francisco. So in Trimiasto we have SKM, and it's horrible. It smells of urine, but it's the same thing. The guy wrote on Twitter, hey, the BART system sucks. It's late, it's horrible, it's awful. And this was covered in a news story that I caught. The person that manages social media for BART, for the local transportation, he obviously had enough that day, he or she, and he literally wrote the truth. BART was a transportation system that was built for far less people, and literally our reality is that it's crap, and we need money to fix it. Now, normally, any kind of response from BART transportation got between 10 and 25 likes. It got over 750 likes because it was human, because it was the truth. People finally responded and said, wow, this guy's actually telling us the truth. This girl is actually telling us the truth about the system. So consumers really relate to the truth, even if it's bad news. This is a great story. We have, in the US, there's a private hospital, okay? And they do orthopedic surgery. And private hospitals, as we know in the US, they work on revenue, they work on sales. What happened was, 3 surgeons decided to live tweet an operation. So what happened was, one surgeon was operating, this was a 9-hour operation. One surgeon was operating, one surgeon was resting, and one surgeon was tweeting. I just hope he washed his hands, but anyway. What happened was, they managed, first of all, to build trust in their hospital and their procedures. So they were doing this, not because they really wanted to be cool, not because they wanted to be on Twitter, but because they had a problem with the fact that people wouldn't have operations at their hospital because they were afraid. So they had all the questions you can possibly imagine of, can they feel it? Does it hurt? What was the worst thing that happened? And they tweeted and tweeted. The next month, they had 15% more people apply for operations at their hospital because they use social media in a very open and honest way to communicate with their audience. This is a very cool story about how putting humans first rather than brands to actually build your brand. So what Nike decided to do, instead of go out and spend huge advertising budget saying Nike is awesome, Nike's great, every billboard, every TV advert they could, they took one single Instagram post of somebody that tagged Nike and they put their user, their consumer, at the front of their advertising campaign. And they put that person on a regular wall in the middle of Moscow. From putting that one person in front and putting that honestness of saying, we're not great, our consumers, our users of Nike are going to show you that we're great, they generated 25,000 Instagram tags of Nike, Girl Power, Moscow. So we really, as consumers, we crave the true story. We crave to see the honesty, which is not big brand, $5 million Super Bowl advertisement saying we're great. We want to see the people behind it. Now, people have always said to me, like, that's easy in B2C. That's easy in B2C. We can always apply to consumers that we're going to make you famous. But in B2B, it doesn't always work. And I've got real life example of the fact that it does work. Now, some of you may have seen this before. So what happens is we decided to, Sadek and the team, they put IKEA as the kind of focus within the video, that we are so happy to work with IKEA. And now what I have to deal with is every time we have a new customer, they say, Mick, I'm so happy to work with Brand 24. Where's my video? And I'm like, shit, okay. It's not so easy. So basically, even at B2B levels, brands, consumers, they love to connect with one another and they love to be at the front. So one thing I want to show you now is that we know that social media can make you go viral. We all want to be the next Virgin Trains. But there's a really good saying, and I'm in sales as much as I'm in marketing, that marketers ruin everything. So we have now brands that rush towards social, rush towards, I want to be the next viral story. I want to be out there. And here's a really good example of how it isn't so simple. You can't fake it. You can't pretend to be on social media. You can't pretend to care. So in the USA, there was a campaign, and I think it was launched via the Ellen TV show, which is Why I Stayed, Why I Left. And what this hashtag basically was about domestic violence. So a really close to home subject of men and women who lived at home who were physically abusing each other. And why social is amazing is because it gave individuals a voice. So even if you had 5 followers on Twitter, you can share your story that I didn't want to be alone, that's why I stayed. I left because it was too much. Really emotional. And then this happened. Digonio Pizza wrote, why I stayed, you had pizza. So they totally missed it. Now, the story behind this is that Digonio had a very simple social media strategy. Wake up, have your coffee, go to work, look whatever is trending and jump in. So they saw why I stayed was trending, and the social media manager, they jumped in and said, because you had pizza, and they didn't know the truth behind the story. Now, this happened because that brand decided that they weren't going to do the hard work. They weren't going to be organic. They were going to try and cheat the system. And they're not the only one. Here we have, let's get 2,000 retweets for all the people that died at 9/11. Awesome idea. Really awesome. And they got a lot of negative press because of this. Here we have a yoga studio that said 9 plus 11 equals 20% off. Awesome. It's really cool. And look at the effort that they've had to put in afterwards to try to retract that information. Our apologies. I'm really sorry. Because you can't make a sale out of a national tragedy. But we all try to cheat social sometimes, and we all try to jump in on things. And you can't cheat it. You can't fake it. You have to be real. You have to really care. So we've gone through the stages of, wow, social media is awesome, let's do everything. Oh my God, social media can make my brand look really insensitive and horrible. Let's not do it. And the fact of the matter is now that with social, you don't really have a choice. If you've got a brand and you want to care, you have to engage with that. So here's a story of Target. So Target is Auchan or Tesco or your local supermarket. And what Target decided to do was, they decided to take away boys and girls' toys, and they decided just to have children's toys. So they said, okay, we don't want children to think that toys are just for one gender. Very political topic, and it happens. And what we had here is somebody reacted on Target's Facebook page saying, I don't agree. I have a boy, I have a girl, so on and so on. But focus on this. Here is the response with a Target logo that says, Kevin, there's no really nice way to put this, so on behalf of Target, I will say, you're a real dick. Target logo, holy shit, someone's having a bad day, someone's gonna get fired tomorrow. But actually what happened was, this person didn't work for Target at all. They were a troll. They decided to create a Facebook fan page and connect on this, and here's the statistics. Target posts normally had 250 to 750 likes. What the troll posted had over 50,000 shares. So because they were posting something very real, very genuine, that people were more interested. It was covered by 40 publications. The troll responded to comments 56 times faster than Target the brand did, because they're a big agency. So what we've got here is that even if you decide not to interact with social media, someone else can. So you've still got to be there. Credit to Target, this is what they did next. This is a very old toy from, I think, like 1980s, 1990s, the troll doll. So what Target did the week after is they decided to start selling them again in the store because they were trolled on social media. And again, remember, they had 250 to 750 likes. This had 30,000 likes on it. So at least Target managed to recover by showing that they were human. Now, what I've showed you today is kind of like that social selling is alive. You can connect with people online. Let me show you how Brand24 do it. And the way that we call this now is all-bound selling. We have customers around the world and various trials that we want to sell to. Now, traditionally, when I've worked in sales for 10 years, I would always break down my channels by countries. So I would be like, hey, Marek, you've got America. Hey, Scott, you've got the UK. What we do at Brand24 now is a little bit different. What we do is we break it down by channel. So instead of having somebody that's responsible for America, somebody that's responsible for Europe, we have people that are responsible for LinkedIn, people that are responsible for Facebook. And people ask me, why do we do this? And the fact of the matter is now, is that channels are more important than location. I did an interview last week of, do people care that your business is from Poland and they don't want to buy it? And I was like, no. What people care about is if my team go to Twitter and say, we think you should buy Brand24, but you've got, that team member has 5 followers on Twitter and it doesn't look respectable. So instead what we decided to do is tell our team members to build their profiles on specific channels. So this is what we did. Here we have Jakub, one of our team members, building his reputation on LinkedIn and building his portfolio, which gets him more likes, gets him more awareness, and gets us more trials. Here we have Gloria, that since I made this presentation, I think Gloria is now the most read expert on social media listening, social media management, social media marketing, because she spent the time on her channel. Her channel is Quora, and this generates trials for Brand24. And the list goes on. We have, obviously, we comment on blogs. We monitor anybody that mentions social media monitoring online, and we comment and we interact with them. But every one of our team members has their specification. That means that we get more business from that. Facebook and so on. Now, that's the first stage. The first stage is, how do I connect with more people that potentially are my customers? So we monitor our own brand, we monitor social media monitoring, we monitor our competition, and we engage them. But what a lot of companies do is they get people inside their funnel, they generate traffic from social media, from emails, and so on, and then this is what they do. And I used to work in email marketing, and this was as complicated as it gets. Somebody comes in on the first day, and you go, day 0, welcome to Brand24, we love you. Day 2 would be like, hey, listen, do you like our product? Day 4, do you really like our product? And all the way at the end, we would end with, please, please, please buy Brand24. And everybody would be in the same boat. And most companies I know have this kind of communication strategy, which is a simple, automated email process. Now, this is what you've got to contend with. The average person worldwide receives 204 emails a day. 204 emails a day. So what we start to do when we start to think, okay, email is a little bit more complex, so let's use marketing automation. Hey, listen, the guy at the top, he clicked that he really liked our product, he opened 5 emails, we're gonna send him such an email, and so on. And you end up with results like this. And these are real life results from Brand24. 30% open rates, 40% open rates, even some of them have 50% open rates, okay? And I don't know about you, but we have marketing meetings, and I'm like, Sadek, 50% open rates on our day 0 email, high five, awesome. I'm gonna go and take the day off. But what you've got to remember is that you get 50% open rates, and to your consumers, it looks like this. This is my average inbox. And you start to ask yourself the question, which is, you've done all that hard work to get those new leads, to get those new trials, to get those new people interested in your business, and we're high-fiving when 50% of them don't even get to read our messages. 50% of people, at the very least, 50% of people don't even open your email. They don't even get to see what you want to say. So what we decided to do at Brand24 is to change it. So instead of our communication funnel looking like email yes, email no, email not, what it started to do is we started to involve social media, because we realized that we have really, really important data. We generate a trial from Twitter. So Jakub from our team says, hey, listen, try out Brand24 on Twitter. And the guy or the girl, they click OK and they sign up for a trial. What do we do instantly? We start to send them emails. Now, what happens is, when those emails stop working, we've got one super valuable piece of information. We know that person hangs out on Twitter. How do we know that? Because that's where they found Brand24. So instead of going email, 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 didn't work, we start to use the information that we do have. And these are the results. We had a Dan Wells, wasn't opening our emails, wasn't answering our phone calls. So Martin had tweeted to Dan, and he responded. Why? Because Twitter is where he hangs out. We had a US Embassy of Qatar that signed up, super valuable lead for us, wasn't answering the emails, wasn't opening the emails. So we wrote to their Facebook page, and they said, hey, listen, here we go, we're trying it. And what they did is they gave us a better email address to actually speak to them on. We did the same on LinkedIn, and even on WhatsApp. So we had a trial user called Lara. She actually became a client, which makes my presentation super cool. But basically, Lara wasn't opening any of my emails. So what I did one day, I'm writing one of my buddies on WhatsApp from the UK, and I see that Lara's phone number's in there because we sync all our phone numbers from our users into our phones via our CRM. Now, Lara hadn't answered any of our phone calls. And the reason why Lara hadn't answered any of our phone calls because it was coming from Poland. She was like, I don't know anybody in Poland, why would I answer the phone? So I thought I would try her on WhatsApp, and what she basically did was say, I didn't find any of your emails, here's a better email address to contact me on, and you can call me after 3 o'clock. All by changing the channel, all by saying, email doesn't work, phone doesn't work, let's try a different channel. We've got all this information on our users of where did they come from, what did they do, how many followers do they have on Facebook, how many fans do they have on their Facebook page. And we can use this now to actually increase those opens and those connection rates. So here's the state of what social sales is today. Social selling has turned out to be 20% shorter than any other sales process because instead of fighting through those 204 emails a day, we're fighting through being 2 or 3 tweets a day. So we're getting noticed much, much faster, and we can have conversations that are much, much shorter. There are 8,000 new LinkedIn groups every single week. 8,000 groups of professionals talking about the problems that your product solves. So they really want you to interact with those. And this is the biggest one for us. I mean, hands down, no secret, one of our best converting channels is Quora. There are 5,500 daily Quora questions, daily, where you can engage. And let me tell you a little tip about Quora. Somebody said to me the other day that Quora is too busy. Quora is so busy that people don't even see what you write. Let me tell you a little tip. We don't interact on Quora because we want Quora users to see the mentions. Quora ranks super high on Google. So when somebody writes what social media monitoring platform should I use, in that top 10 results is Quora. And when they click on that, then they see our answer. So it's not only for Quora users, it's for people that search. So I tried to finish my presentations, and it's the very end, and the after party is going to rock. And I already had 3 beers, so I'm really happy. But basically, I try to give it as much as I can as kind of simple things that you can do tomorrow. So the first thing you need to do is you should monitor, not only with Brand24, use Twitter search, use any tool you want. Start monitoring the problem that you solve. So think about how your users talk. So if you have a Mercedes car dealership, not many people are going to tweet or mention on Facebook Mercedes car dealership when you monitor it. But if you monitor where can I buy a new car in Szczecin, you're going to find people where you've got a problem, that solve the problem that they have. Number 2, talk as if you were sat next to the person. So sometimes when we switch to email, when we switch to Twitter or Facebook, we become very corporate, or we become very tight, and we talk very professional. Talk to people as if they were sat next to you. You know, keep your brand recognition. Our day 0 message to our users now is, can I help? Or maybe you need some help picking out what takeaway to have or what film to watch at the movies. Now, a lot of the time that takes up our time because people really say, okay, tell me what movie to watch. But this is who we are. This is Brand24's kind of persona. This is our brand. We like to be helpful. So try to be as real as you can online. And tip number 3 is when you do try social selling or when you do try social engagement, follow up. Okay, so if you tweet to someone and say, listen, hey, I saw you have a problem. Maybe you'll try our product. If they don't respond, tweet them again in 3 days. Hey, listen, did my suggestion help? We just started doing this in Brand24, and so many people that didn't respond on the first tweet respond on the second one because they don't always have time. Okay, that's the end of me talking for so long. I really, really appreciate your attention. And if you have any questions, I'm very open to try and answer them. So thank you. Appreciate it.